Today, August 8th, 2024, the class number is 716. Title, I Am My Life. Foundation scripture, John 8, verse 12, and John 1, verses 1 through 5. So, we look up John, let's read John 8, verse 12 first. John 8, verse 12. Remember the title, I Am My Life. Again, Jesus spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but he shall find for himself the light of light. L-I-G-H-T. Remember, I am my life. Life and light are the same thing. And then we go to John 1, verse 5. I'm sorry, 1 through 5. The Word was in the beginning, and that very Word was with God, and God was that Word. The same was in the beginning with God. You know, in Greek, the word principle is the word for beginning, which is principium. So in principle, that word is God. God is the principle of life. Verse 3, everything came to be by his hand. In other words, in King James it says all things were made by him. That means the word. And without him, not even one thing that was created came to be. The only thing that comes to be, the only thing that's created comes by the word. The life was in him, and the life is the light of me. I am my life. Verse 5, and the same light shines in darkness, and the darkness does not overcome it. That was what I was talking about when I said a few minutes ago about my great nieces. Some darkness has come to them, challenges with their mom and dad. However, the darkness in my dream could not overcome the situation because each time, one's got to be somewhere around 11 or 12, and the other one is around 7, I think, something like that. But they overcame it. I saw it was like there was this big light shining on them in each situation. And that was a dream in itself. And this is after I had listened to that Gate of Dreams. Isn't that amazing? The song was Gate of Dreams, and I have this dream, and I see their situations resolved by way of the light, not by anything that I did in and of myself. Y'all with me? So, as we think about I Am My Life, as we think about all things were made by this word, including your own body. You know, your mom and daddy didn't make your body. The word made your body, and you are that very word because as the sons of God, the Son is one with the Father. Not talking about any kind of gender. So we know that when I say I am my life, I am making my experience ongoing. As I go, I am making my experience by my word, which is saying, this is what I see, this is what I want. So I have already seen my great nieces overcome their situation. The darkness didn't overtake them. I have already seen myself get beyond whatever grief. I was at the end of it. I have seen the promised land. That's wonderful. Okay, so what happens when you get these negative feelings? You know you get feelings that are negative or they're positive. But most of the time you get more negative feelings than you do positive. If you're anything akin to what they call the human experience. That's why he said the darkness comes, but it can't overcome the light because who you are has already overcome it. So when these feelings come, positive or negative, you cannot fight with this negative feeling. Don't do that. Just go on and feel it. Just let it. It's a negative feeling. So what? You know that the darkness can't overcome it because you are the Word. You are the light. You are not the feeling. You are the observer. You are observing the feeling. So you realize I am consciousness. And I am awakening to something. What am I awakening to? Every time there is something negative that is felt, it's trying to tell you something. What is this feeling trying to tell me? It's telling me abide so that you can let go. If you abide in this feeling of positive, to I can let go. Don't abide in the negative one. Just let the negative feeling come. And what happens is you're going to generate a feeling if you say, okay, I see this. It's darkness. It's a dark feeling, but it cannot overcome me because I am the light. I am the light of the world. That's why when I do those meditations by touching my sternum and feeling that presence burn over on the inside, that's why I know what I'm doing when I do that. I am realizing that, okay, yeah, this feeling has come. If it's a positive one, yeah, I abide in it. This is wonderful. Like the thing about Gator Dreams. That could have taken me in a negative direction, but it didn't. I said, what is this trying to tell me? And so, therefore, as I realized it, then I was like, oh, wow, okay. So this is the victory that overcomes the world, my faith. I am my life. So now what am I doing when I start taking those kinds of statements and making those and thinking about those statements? What am I doing? I'm blessing the feeling. Yeah, it's like when somebody comes to your house and they want to bring you something and you say, no, I don't think I have it today. You're blessing yourself. You're saying, no, I'm turning this away. Here comes this feeling. I ain't going to fight with you. I got to the point where I realized that, I don't need to fight this fight no more. I don't fight the good fight of faith. That the Jehovah's Witnesses quit coming here. In fact, I ain't in a fight with them. Well, do you realize? Ding, ding, ding. I said, you know what? No, I don't think. What was it in that movie about Doc Holliday and them, Tombstone? When that boy said, Mayor, I don't think I'm gonna let you arrest me today. That's what you're saying to the negative. I don't think I'm gonna let you arrest me. I'm gonna let you go. Bless you. See you later. See, I bless it and I give thanks, like that song, with a grateful heart. Gratitude. Greg talks about that. When you're touching your chest, the sternum, and you're taking that slow breath, and you're exhaling real slowly and feeling that presence, what you're doing is you're emoting gratitude. You're emoting caring, compassion. It's amazing. You're caring. You're appreciating. And so then what's happening, I find myself doing that 4 and 5 times a day because, A, I know what it's doing, and 2, it feels good. And so then I go on, and he said science has proved that feeling will stay with you up to like 6 hours. I said, well, if I do this 4 times, it'll stay with me 24 hours. I know how to count. 6 times 4 is 24. So I get a whole day of feeling like this. So then all of a sudden, somewhere in the middle of the day, I might feel this feeling coming in that Something ain't quite right. Nah, I'm not going to go with that. I ain't going to fight with you. Fight the good fight of faith. So I give thanks. And what happens is this blessing, as I said, it generates this, what I call the feeling of the single eye in the heart. The heartburn, the single eye, singleness of purpose. Remember Jesus said, love the Lord your God with all your heart. That I call that feeling. With all your mind, I call that thought. There are the two right there. And all your soul, emotion. Remember when I think it was the Shunammite lady who came to the prophet, and the prophet's assistant looked at him and said, here comes the Shunammite, what's wrong? And the prophet said, her soul is vexed within her. That's that negative feeling. The soul is vexed. So when the three marry in the house, I want y'all to see this now. Y'all see my fist? When the three marry in the house, what happens? Boom. The big 808. Boom, shakalaka. In other words, the two have already made peace in the house, and so now the emotion comes along. That's the three. They marry, and then you get this big sonic boom. That's that warmth, that glow in the heart that says the light did not overtake it. Loving your neighbor as yourself, that's compassion. That really is compassion. You know, we think about the Beatitudes. And what does it say? Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. When you're pure at heart, that means you're single-minded. There's a singleness of purpose. And when you're that pure in heart, you see the self. You see you. I am my life. I see myself. I turn in Isaiah 46. It does not say, be still and know that I am God. In Aramaic, it says turn. Turn what? Turn away from the negative feeling by blessing it. That's the way you turn and you feel this thing in your heart. You have blessed it. Now you have emoted compassion for whatever it is that you were about to feel bad about. Compassion. Greg Braden asked one of the Buddhist monks, what is it that holds the whole world? No, he said, what is compassion? And the monk said, compassion is that which holds everything together. Everything is connected, and compassion holds it together. Isn't that beautiful? Compassion holds everything together because compassion is love. If you look in some of the Bibles, when Paul says, if I could ring out a bell and I could do miracles, I can lead buildings with a single bound, I can do all this wonderful stuff, but if I have not compassion, that's 1 Corinthians 13. If I don't have compassion, I don't have anything at all. I have personal ambition out front, trying to make things go so somebody will know my name. Yet, it says, it's a funny thing, too, a preacher just said, yes, see, a preacher told me a couple of weeks ago, when I get rich and famous. And I said, oh, okay. And I ain't going to fight with him, but I did look back. I couldn't help it. I am Michael Orr. I look back at him, I say, but it says that the fame of Jesus traveled throughout the Holy Land. That means the whole land. All of the land that is set apart for a specific purpose. That fame of Jesus went out through all of the Holy Land. There's only one person who's getting royalties close to what Jesus got. And that's David, because he wrote all those songs. So he's got more published. But think about it. David is famous. Jesus is famous. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are famous. Thomas is now becoming famous, not because he doubted Jesus, but because of what he wrote, the things that Jesus said Gospel of Thomas. I have a copy of that. I downloaded it. Remember, you are the observer of the thoughts and the emotions, and they are not you and never become you. You become one of them. You choose to become the emotion of compassion. I am love. Okay? They want, see, here you go. These are the things that the human consciousness wants. Desire, fear, dread, what may or may not happen. You know, but what if? Those are all feelings. And you emote, or you bring about an emotion based on those feelings. My emotion about a negative feeling is, I ain't going to fight with you today. I've already fought the good fight of faith. So that's where I am. And this is what I want to experience. The other night when I got ready to go to bed, something just said, pick up that book over there. It's Ask and It Is Given, and it's by Abraham Hicks. So I said, okay. And I picked it up. And I looked at that, and I said, oh, wow, I had forgotten this. Never really settle in and start thinking about what you don't want. Because if you start thinking about what you don't want, you start emoting. You get emotional about it. Well, why don't you want, and then you start, or anybody ever done this? I hope I never see. If I ever see such and such, if I never see such and such a person again, it's too soon. I don't ever want to talk to this person again. Well, there you go. See the emotion that's behind it? And that emotion is doing what? It's marrying itself to the thought and the feeling, and you are doing what? Bringing that person into your experience again and again. And if you know that's what you're doing, that's like going fishing in a pond where there are no fish at all. Who would do that? What, just to learn how to cast a reel? No, you wouldn't do that. Your job is to bless this. Here comes this negative feeling. Well, I bless you. What am I doing? Transmuting it. I'm transmuting this feeling into that which I want. I don't want to feel bad, so I don't even think about not wanting to feel bad. I want to feel good, so I'm going to focus totally on that. So now I've blessed it with compassion, which is single-mindedness in the heart, and I've understood what are these feelings here, the negative feelings, what are they saying? I need you. Sort of like in a relationship when either the male or the female is lying. Only, they're not lying. It's like, baby, I need you. I really need you. I really want you. I need this. I need that. Ding, 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 ding. Well, this thing is saying, I need you, but the only reason this negative feeling is saying I need you is I need your attention in order to exist. In order to stand out. In order to feel good about my negative self, I need you. I need you. I can't, you are the bread of life, and I got to eat from you. That's why he says, take no thought. Don't think about good and evil. That's the mistake. That's the sin that does so easily beset. Everything has an opposite. No, it doesn't. How can all have an opposite? It does not. I need you. My job is to do what? Peace, be still. That's my job. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's what I'm doing. Peace, be still. Now, here's another challenge right here. Pray without ceasing. How in the world do you do that? How do you pray without ceasing? Okay. In everything, give thanks. How do you do that? This is the will of God in Jesus Christ. That's 1 Thessalonians 5, 17 and 18. That sounds just like Hebrews 12 and 2. Lay aside every weight and the sin that does so easily beset us. And then Romans 12, 1, offer our bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable. What does that mean? To sacrifice means to make it whole, and holy is hallowed, which means set apart for a specific purpose. And what is that purpose? To be acceptable to your God self, so that you can prove what is the good, the acceptable, and the perfect will of God. You have to live daily, constantly feeling the presence in the heart, and you live this presence in your heart, your mind, which I told you last week, that word yatsar, means imagination. That's a Hebrew word. The mind and imagination will follow. Isn't that wonderful? Wow. How do I pray without ceasing? Well, they have proven, science as well as the indigenous people, the Buddhists, and the early Christians. See, remember, Christianity came after all of that stuff. Paul was the one who brought in Christianity. Everything. Jesus was not a Christian. Jesus was a Hebrew rabbi. Let me say that again. Jesus was not a Christian. So, when we think about that, when we abide in that word, we're abiding in ourselves. Keep being who I am, because I am my life. John 15 and 4, abide in me. Let's read John 15. I wrote this down for a purpose. It's verse 4 through 17. John. Come on, John. Here you go. John 15, 4 through 17. I'm going to read it from the Aramaic. Remain with me, and I with you, just as a branch cannot give fruit by itself unless it remains in the vine. Remember, I am the vine, the true vine. Keep being who you are. Even so, you cannot unless you remain with me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who remains with me and I with him will bear abundant fruit, but without me you can do nothing. What is abundant fruit? Love, that's the very first one, compassion. Joy, peace, faith, patience, meekness, kindness, self-control. The fruit of the Spirit. You will abide in me and you will bear all. Every time you get in a situation, you're being asked to love, to experience joy. Why? Because the joy of the Lord is your strength. Peace, faith, that's what? The assurance of that which I expect. What do I expect? I expect to bear this fruit. Meekness, I'm pliable. I can bend with the wind. I ain't got to fight. Kindness, goodness, that's godliness. Self-control. I think that's why they put temperance last, self-control. You control yourself if you have all those other 8 fruits beforehand. Unless a man remains with me, he will be cast aside like a branch which is withered, which they pick up and throw into the fire to be burned. If you remain with me and my words remain with you, whatever you ask shall be done for you. And remember, let's go back now to why I'm doing all this meditation, feeling this presence in the heart. Ask what you will. In the book of Thomas, he's saying they took out exactly, this is what Greg Braden says, they edited out the part that showed you how to ask. I sat in the church service last week to play music for them, and this woman got up and prayed, and it seemed like she was going to pray for 10 minutes. Jamal said, Dad, that's the part where you're supposed to, like you're supposed to play music. The organ has to come on. Like you out there and you stand, man, you dancing out there at the Apollo, and all of a sudden you hear it's time for you to get off. The music starts playing, and it's time for you to quit. But they don't get it. They just pray right on through the music. Just kept right on going. Jesus, Lord Jesus, I ask you to do, and Lord Jesus, and I said, I could tell them, but I'm not. I'm not going to tell them. I'm just going to let them go on. When they got finished, and I said to myself, wow. Asking means feeling that presence. Feeling is the prayer. 1 John 5:14, we know them well that if we ask according to his will is to feel the presence. That's it. I offered you my body so that I could, as a living sacrifice. Why? So that I could feel the presence. I would express and emote the perfect, acceptable will of God. That's it. I'm asking, let me feel, because I know if I feel this, everything that I desire has been given. Everything. You cannot ask and not receive, because when you feel the presence, you are asking. Not with the mouth, because a lot of people ask. Remember when Jesus prayed, what did he say? Father, I know you always hear me. Wow. I know you hear me. But just for these people out here, Lazarus, come forth. So every time you're saying, God, in the name of Jesus, I'm asking you to do ding, 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 you probably can count the times that he did it. Because you got a he that's separate from who you are, and then you got you asking something separate from you to do something for you, and he's saying, no, I don't hear that. What do you hear? I hear the feeling in your heart. I hear the compassion. I hear that. I hear the emotion. I hear the feeling. The prayer is answered before they call. You probably say, man, you say that every week. I say it every week because I say it every day, all day. Isaiah 65, verse 24, I say it all day, every day. I can't help but say it because I know what's going. It's answered before I pray. He has heard me before I speak. I don't have to speak. I can sit there and think, caring, compassion, gratitude. I just sit there thinking that. Who's hearing it? Y'all with me? Who is it that's hearing it? You are hearing it. You have answered your own prayer when you feel that presence in your heart. You. Now, in this, the Father is glorified, that you bear abundant fruit and be my disciples. What did we do? We ran out and started trying to make stuff happen and give God the credit. And God is like, man, I don't need no credit for something that you are here doing in and of yourself. The great Jesus said, in and of myself, I can't do nothing. It's this Father within me, this awareness, this presence within me. That's doing the work. Okay, so just as my Father has loved me, I also have loved you. Abide in my compassion. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love. You ever wondered what that means? If I keep your commandments, abide in love. What were the commandments? What did we say that were a while ago? Have compassion for the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and have compassion for your neighbor as yourself. I have spoken these things. Let's see. Verse 11, to you that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. That's it. That's it. I can stop right there. That's all you got to do. You mean I ain't got to fast and pray? You got to fast and pray when you don't understand how to come into the understanding that all things are already yours. Yeah, you might have to fast. Well, what am I fasting from? Not so much food. You're fasting from the negative thinking. You're fasting from the negative emotion that comes as a result of the negative feeling. You're fasting from that. Now you know why Jesus went off and stayed all the days and they didn't know where he was? You know why Moses went off? Because he could not be around them. Why couldn't he be around them? Because they were talking what? Smack. They're talking all this stuff that meant nothing. Let me read you something. If ever there was a mistake y'all want to make this mistake, because I made it the other night. And it was this. I made the mistake of watching the last hour of the book of Eli all over again. I've watched that Denzel movie. I watched the book. I watched the last end of it. And when Denzel had, he was laying there, he told this guy remember they had lost the Bible. So he found that he was protecting it. And it had been ruined. So he had this scribe come and sit down. He said, get a lot of paper. He had memorized all of the scriptures, and he was giving all of the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation. And this scribe was writing. He had all these stacks of papers, man, hundreds of pieces of paper, man. I was like, good God. I said, I forgot all this. And he looked at the guy and he said, you know what? He said, I've been protecting this book for so long, I forgot to live by it. I went, oh, wow. I wrote it down. And the guy said, well, what does that mean? And Denzel said, do more for others than you do for yourself. I went, wow. Wow. Do more for others than you do for yourself. That sounds like what? Love your neighbor as yourself. Compassion. It holds everything together. And then on his last breath, as he's going out, he's getting ready to die, he says, I have fought the good fight. I have kept the faith. I finished the race. Remember when Paul said that? He was done. He had seen it. What fight? I kept the fight. I kept the faith. I fought the good fight. Fight the good fight of faith. He was assured that he would protect that book, that Bible, and it was the King James Version. And there was this man trying to get it from him. And they waged war against him to try to get that book because it was trying to fall into what they call evil hands. So now we have realized in John, and now here we are. Prayer is the feeling in the heart. It is the answer to the prayer. And it is not for a moment in time. This is what the Buddhist monk said. It is not for a moment in time, one situation at a time. Prayer is something. It is a practice that we become and remain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The more you practice the meditation that generates that feeling in the heart, the more the desires that are within you, because they're coming from God. Nobody desires to go steal anything. What happens is they succumb to the negative feeling that comes to them as a result of them having something they don't want. And what is that? I don't have this. I don't have that. I need this. I got to go out here and make a way for myself. You've heard people say that kind of stuff. And they do all kinds of sorts of things in order to get what it is that they think they don't have. You know what I'm saying? Some of them, the billionaires, money they have, but peace they lack. We got to keep moving in the spirit, this peace, this power. It is not one situation at a time. It is constantly abiding in the spirit of the living God. Compassion is both the experience and it is a force. We have the power in our heart. Compassion is not just a feeling, oh, this poor person over here, look what they're going through. No, there is some of that. However, it is the act of causing you to feel the presence of God on their behalf. It is the feeling of love present in our heart. In the heart is where we live. And this feeling in the heart is all life. The light that the darkness does not overtake. Compassion, feeling in the heart, is the energy and the power that aligns us with the universal language. I call that the unknown tongue. Not no. The unknown tongue is the language of the universe this intelligence that is in us. We are the sons of God. God is the universal intelligence, the universal presence. We are the sons. God is expressing in a specific, special, individual kind of a way. And then we are expressing what? As Michael, as Dana, as Susie. We are expressing that way, as Albert, as caller in user number 1 unverified. Carmen and Deb, Jamal, Mary, Judy Ann, Kenneth Orr. The Christ that we are, the Son of God, is individualizing ourselves as a body so we can work through. That's the only reason we need. That's why we offer our bodies to God. Who is that? The presence which is within me. Who is me? I am the Christ. And we are expressing as form. See, and so this power aligns us with the universal language that makes us one. This is the unknown tongue that sets us free from the mind's babbling. That's the ego. It wants to be famous and rich. Why doesn't it say I am famous and rich? Why does the ego keep wanting to be famous? You know, and it's like I sit there and I watch and I look at all of the people who were the stars when I was coming along, especially after I got to be, a teenager. And I saw all these people, the Frankie Lamons of the world, and I saw all of the Nat King Coles, and I saw all of the James Browns, and I saw all of the Temptations, the Diana Ross and the Supremes, all of this. The boy said, where are they now? I'm going to be a big star. As my grandson, Amar, says, no, you're not. You are not. You already are a star. Sly Stone said, everybody is a star. You are a star out there in the galaxy of God. But the star is spiritual. It is set apart for a specific purpose, to bear fruit. People go, what's my purpose? Bear fruit. Feel the presence of God. That's your purpose. Your purpose ain't nothing out here that's physical. It just shows up and looks like that. This babbling, you got to go. Fear not. I am with you always. Then he looked at Peter and what did he say? Why did you doubt? You out here on this water just like me. I ain't doing nothing to make you be out here on this water. You know why Jesus was not being able to cause Peter to walk on the water? Because Peter started sinking. And Jesus had to pull him up out of the water. Sort of like saving a drowning man. Isn't that amazing? Jesus, the great Jesus, I can't do this for you. You have to do it for yourself. However, in and of yourself, you can't do it. But if you abide in the same conscious awareness that I'm abiding in, you will not only walk on water, but there is no negative darkness that will overtake you because you are the light. You are pure in heart. You are singleness of purpose. You ain't babbling anymore like the pagan. You are feeling compassion in the heart. Accepting these things as they appear, not fighting them. When we say that again, when negative stuff shows up, you're not fighting with it. You know, it looks like you can't pay your bills. You're not fighting with that. You just say, okay, this is the way it looks, but I'm going to bless it. How do I bless it? By closing my eyes, touching the sternum in my chest, taking a deep breath in for about 5 seconds, exhaling a little longer than the 5 seconds, and thinking about my thought and my feeling right now are making peace in the house. I turn and know that I am God. See, I'm making these statements within. I tell it to stop raining if I need to go jogging. I'm not telling it from an egotistical standpoint. I'm telling it so as to not get wet. not have to delay my jogging. I'm telling the thunder and the lightning to stop because it's not generating any purpose. We already got electricity. We harnessed electricity. I don't need all these thunderstorms. What I need with that? But I know that this feeling is the truth. And it points me and aligns me with the right emotion. And the three, thought, feeling, and emotion, marry. They become one. This is answered prayer. It took me, I've been doing this now about a month or two. Just keep doing it, and then finally it's like the granite cracks. And I start to see God. I see who I am, the pure in heart, this singleness of purpose. I know that it's answered before I start calling, before I ask. I hear. You understand? I hear. Answered before I even start thinking about it. I heard it. Psalm 32, verse 8, Aramaic. I've made you to understand. Well, the I that I am already understands. I've made Michael understand that he needs to get out the way. I've made you to understand. I've led you in the way that you ought to take, and I am following you with my own eye. Out of the abundance of the heart, where the mouth speaks. What you have you don't mean anything evil or anything treacherous when you tell the thunder and the lightning to stop. Look how many people have to have electricity in the evening. You don't want the electricity cut off. It's light, so we all can see. Out of the abundance of this heart, the mouth speaks. It speaks what? It makes a bold statement. I am consciousness. Pure awareness. That's all I am. I am the observer. I see this for what it is. I am my life. And my life, I am come to Michael so that he could experience life in abundance. Amen. And so it is.